Finally, today's episode of Journalist Hangout Midweek Special is on the double jeopardy for commuters over lack of adherence to COVID-19 safety protocols and hike in fares by transporters in Lagos State. 5 months after the Lagos State government eased the restriction on movements, drivers are no longer adhering to COVID-19 safety protocols at parks and in vehicles, but they maintained the hike in transport fares which came with the lockdown. TVC News Ayoyumika Adeni reports.
The coronavirus was first reported by the World Health Organization on the 31st of December, 2019 in Wuhan, China. Nigeria's index case of coronavirus was recorded on the 27th of February in Lagos State, when an Italian citizen who works in Nigeria returned from a visit to Italy. Since then, Nigerians have been introduced to a new way of life involving masks, sanitizers, social and physical distancing. The World Health Organization advised that in order to slow the spread of the virus, stopping the chain of transmission of COVID-19 was important and could be achieved with social and physical distancing. Governments took to this and ordered that their citizens maintain the rule. Lagos State was not left out, as Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on the 29th of April 2020 mandated public yellow buses, popularly known as Danfo, tricycles and private vehicles to adhere to physical distancing guidelines. The governor ordered that bus commuters wear face masks at all times, sanitize or wash their hands before and after every trip, while transport operators were to ensure that their buses are only loaded to 60% of capacity. This means that if a bus normally takes 10 people when fully loaded, no more than 6 persons can be allowed to board at any point in time. He said that all motor parks must avoid overcrowding, stating that social distancing is required for passengers queuing up to board buses. For tricycles, only 2 passengers were to be carried at once, with masks on. This caused a hike in fares, usually to ensure that the profit margin before the pandemic was still maintained. Most passengers had no problem with this, knowing that it was for their safety. But months later, something changed. Bus drivers were no longer adhering to the COVID-19 safety protocols. Parks were crowded, and no one seemed to do anything about that. It seemed as though the pandemic was over, but the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 was still rising. What bothered many was that the hike in fares was maintained. Everything that concerned COVID-19 was discarded, except that one thing: money. Bus and tricycle drivers insist on loading their buses to capacity, but refuse to revert to the old price.
If they're making me feel safe, I don't feel they're cheating me. But in a situation where they're actually carrying the same amount of people, the same number of people, and still hyping the price, then I feel I'm being cheated.
For instance now, wherever you are going to bike, you cannot take it for 50 naira, it's 100 naira. So like me now that I'm looking for a job, I'm trying to limit it to my vicinity, because going outside, the price is so high. So that is, it has really affected. And the employers, they don't want to understand. They still want to pay you the same amount they were paying you before, or even lower.
With the hike in electricity and fuel price, and bearing in mind the job losses caused by the pandemic, more Nigerians are in a state of double jeopardy, struggling to survive.
As it is, we are just trying to endure, because it's not really easy. With the salary we are earning, compared to the amount of money they take from us for transportation, it's nothing to write home about.
Like I'm speaking to you now, I've lost my job since March because of this COVID-19. You can see me trekking here and there. So it has affected me too much. I can't afford the transport fare as at now.
I think the government should just try and do something about it, because it's affecting everybody. People cannot move out to look for a job. They have to limit their search within the vicinity.
And at the end of the day, we are cheated in a way. We are cheated in a way because there's no increase in salary. And there's increase in virtually everything. Everything is expensive.
Commuting is an integral aspect of human life. Individuals move from one place to another to work, eat, and basically to survive. If it is now too expensive, life will become unbearable for the ordinary Nigerian. Ayoyimika Adeni, TVC News, Lagos.